Jesse T from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, it's good to be back with you. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. Yeah, man. We're on the air and everywhere, from the community to the world. It's time for the Jesse T Show. That's me, Jesse T, proud to be with you here on a Tuesday in Southern California. Good to have you along as we adjust the lights a little bit here and adjust some things around here so you can see us nice and bright. For those of you who have us on Facebook, we're at facebook.com/Jesse Torero. And for those of you who have us on Instagram Live, we're at Instagram Live, Jesse Torero. And our YouTube audience, remember to sign up for membership and free subscribership, because I'm going to be taking somebody with me to the Oscars this year, going to be hanging out with me on the red carpet. And the only way that you can be a participant in that is to go to YouTube, Jesse Torero, and become a free member and subscribe, and you'll be able to hang out with me on the red carpet as we interview all the top celebrities before the Academy Awards. And we get to go and eat and watch the Academy Awards, as well as after the Academy Awards, a big post party, and all the winners are going to be there. So, yeah, some lucky somebody is going to be a participant with me, Jesse T, and Dan the Man out there, going to be part of our crew making it happen, and we want you to be a part of that. But in order to be a part of that, at the Roger Neal 4th Annual pre- and post-Oscar party this year at the Hollywood Palladium. It's going to be a great time. If you've never been in the Palladium, it is world-famous historical landmark. All the greatest performers have performed there at some time or another, excuse me. And we want you to be a participant with us there for Roger Neal's 4th Annual Hollywood Oscars pre- and post-party. It's going to be a great time. By the way, he's going to be checking in with the Jesse T Show live at KTNT Radio and TV Network at the Power of Voices Studios near Sony Studios in Los Angeles. Tomorrow, we're going to be in studio live with Roger Neal and his son, the real deal Roger Neal, who's going to be performing. He's an R&B recording artist, and he's going to be performing live there, opening up, and for Howard Hewitt of Shalimar fame. And Howard Hewitt, everybody knows that great Grammy Award-winning performing artist, and there's going to be a huge, big band orchestra playing swing music from the 30s and 40s. It's just going to be a great time, and we want you to be a participant in it. Joe Kovacic, one of my buddies way back to the Poly High School Parrots days. Hey, Joe, what's happening, big guy? Been a fireman saving people's lives for the last 30-plus years. And Big Joe, baby, Country Boy Joe. One of the guys I've known since I was about 10 years old. Good to have you along with us, Joe. Hey, you might want to check out the show here on our Facebook channel, or facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. We have two feeds going. We have the kind of the naked raw feed that a lot of folks like to look into, this one here. And then we have the kind of promoted, produced, and this feed over here, which is a little bit different kind of a feed. It sort of is got all the production and the music and all that good stuff in it there as well. So, hey, today we are talking about something spectacular. You know, to be successful in life, you have to have a winning attitude. And to have a winning attitude, you must learn how to win. Now, that's not really taught today in the millennials, the Gen Xers, and the Gen Ys, Gen Zs, or whatever they call themselves. It was taught to us at the baby boom generation, but we seem to have lost our way too, and we kind of turned into a self-righteous, greedy kind of thing during our lifetimes. I truly believe that 500 years from now, they're going to look back, historians are going to say the baby boom generation was the generation that destroyed America. Saying hi to Gregory Ham, Dean Olson, Joe Kovacic, Dave Smith, Jose Lamas, Jay Fortin Tamab Foss. Hey, thanks a lot for checking us in, and all our friends on Instagram, as we're trying to boot up on Instagram, but our signal is getting kind of jammed here with all the places we're out on. 25 of your top social media TV network sites, downline radio and AM transmitters around America, and on the powerofvoices.com, our global radio network. So in order to be winning in life, you have to have a winning attitude. And something that's not taught too much in athletics, it's like, everybody gets a trophy and a ribbon. Well, that's not the way life is. Not everybody gets a trophy and a ribbon, right? No. Not everybody should get a trophy and a ribbon. No, that's right. What people should get is if they win, they win. If they don't win, they don't win. I mean, that's kind of the way it should be, don't you think? It should be sort of like that. If they win, they get something. If they don't win, they don't get anything. So what? Hey, man, the best thing is to lose once in a while, because you know what second best is? Second best is your last place. Think about that for a second, right? Go big, go home. That's right. Dave Smith says that's right. Absolutely. So your second best is your first losing position. So I thought today I would talk about something that would be kind of interesting and fun today, and go back and talk a little bit about something called The Art of War. Now, everybody's seen this book, and maybe some of you have read this at some point in your life, The Art of War. But I've read this book, at least 150 times. I studied this book, The Art of War. And I also studied the book by Donald Trump, his first big book, too, because I wanted to see how I became a billionaire. I'm not a billionaire, but I'm doing okay. But we can always do more, right? But this book here is The Art of War. This is a book that was written about the 5th century, and it's all about how you defeat your enemy in battle, in war. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about the first chapter of The Art of War and kind of give you guys some inspiration and some hope as to what you have to do in order to become the winner that you want to be, and even become more winning than what you are already doing while you're winning. Okay? Donald Trump's first book is basically The Art of War, a 1980s version of it. And I don't know why people didn't read his book, The Art of the Deal, because basically his presidency is the art of the deal. When he announced for president, I whipped out the old book I have, a couple of them, and I read The Art of the Deal all over again. I swear to God, he's just following his presidency. It's his masterpiece, The Art of the system here, and let you hear it. And for those of you who are on the well, I won't be able to unplug it because I want you to hear it. So, but for those of you who are on the raw system, I'm going to try to figure out a way that maybe I can play this for you, okay? But I want you guys to watch this. This is The Art of War. It's about 5 minutes long. Kind of gives a good idea of of what the art of war is all about. Okay, so I want you to check it out, and we'll turn the volume up. Maybe you guys can hear it pretty good. Okay, here we go.
In the age of bloody civil war, 2,500 years ago, a Chinese military commander, strategist and philosopher emerged. His name, Sun Tzu. After successfully defending the state of Wu against its neighbor Chu to the west, a book formerly known as Master Sun's Military Methods was born, which has later become known as The Art of War. The Art of War is the most influential treatise on war ever written, consisting of 13 chapters, each of which is devoted to one aspect of warfare. It has shaped the way in which conflicts have been fought for thousands of years, from the Japanese samurai to the Napoleonic War. Not only has the book influenced military commanders and generals all over the world, it has had resounding effects on politics, sports, and business to this day. The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It's a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence it's a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. Sun Tzu has a holistic philosophy that if you follow correctly and study thoroughly, you will be victorious. Sun Tzu says, "Avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak." Sun Tzu is a strong believer that winning the war with as little unnecessary combat as possible is the key to true victory.
This is the scene, Indiana Jones, the gun and sword.
Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting, and the key to doing so is to know your enemy well. If your opponent is arrogant, pretend to be weak, so he will underestimate you. If he was relaxing, attack and give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them. Sun Tzu is essentially saying that if you know your opponent's weaknesses and how to exploit them, you will never lose.
So at dawn, the hopeless Athenians do the unthinkable. They attack. They attack the weary Persians.
Sparta, 300.
After a month at sea. They attack before they can establish their war camp and supply their soldiers.
Sun Tzu says, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. During the mid-1960s, a war took place between the North Vietnamese Communists and the United States of America. Instead of confronting the Americans head-on, the Viet Cong had a different idea in mind. They used unconventional guerrilla warfare tactics, which included hit-and-run strategies. This proved very effective against the much larger military of the Americans. It's more important to outthink your enemy than to outfight him. The Viet Cong forces were inferior to the Americans in both man and firepower, so guerrilla warfare tactics allowed them to inflict significant damage while keeping their casualties to a minimum. They also had unparalleled knowledge of the terrain. This included a vast network of underground tunnels, allowing them to evade carpet bombing and escape the enemy. The terrain was also laced with various booby traps and landmines. Even though the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese were heavily outarmed by the American superpower, they were still able to defeat them as they truly understood Sun Tzu's philosophy. All warfare is based on deception. Hence, when we are able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. This philosophy can be seen in the World War II invasion of Normandy, known as D-Day. The British created several fictional units of troops stationed in Scotland who were ready to invade Europe through its northern regions, in particular Scandinavia. They then used several misinformation techniques to persuade Hitler that 350,000 of these troops were primed to attack. Radio chatter in Scotland lit up with talks of these troops preparing for an overseas assault, and many of these transmissions were made easily interceptable. Allied spies who had been able to infiltrate the Germans reported these developments as well, reinforcing their legitimacy. These spies also took photographs of planes and tanks posed for invasion, but these were actually blow-up models in most cases. All this caused dozens of German divisions to go up to bogus locations and wait for an imaginary army to show up, whilst important battles were. This method of devising enemy forces was also employed to a greater extent on D-Day itself. Soviet forces kept around 1 million of the German forces busy on the Eastern Front, whilst the Allied invasion occurred on the Western Front. This tactic of dividing the enemy is one of Sun Tzu's key philosophies and allowed the Allies to achieve victory and eventually win the war. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what video.
The art of war. You see how that works out, guys? See, you got to understand something. You have to really understand that the most important thing about engaging your enemy is winning the battle. No matter how you have to win, no matter what you have to do in order to win the battle, that is the bottom line. And you want to win the battle with as little amount of damage to yourself and those that participate with you in that battle. You do not want to engage your enemy head on like they did a lot in the Confederate war battlefield of Gettysburg, where the South attacked, wave after wave after wave, and the Union soldiers just picked them off and picked them off and picked them off at Gettysburg. You want to go a roundabout way. You want to infiltrate. You want to do all those things. So I think The Art of War is a great, great, great manual to the art of success in life. So I thought what I would do here is I would go over some of the things in The Art of War. You just heard a few things there, but I think this is kind of cool stuff. I'm not going to go over them all. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of stuff here. I just wanted to go about laying plans because since it's the beginning of the new year of 2019, and we're going to be dropping into the second month of the new year, I thought, well, maybe this would be a good time in this month of January to lay out some good plans for you so you can succeed in the art of your war, the art of winning your success. Like Sun Tzu said, the art of war is of vital importance to the state. The state, of course, is you. So in translating this as I'm going to, the state is you. It's not the state, it's you, okay? It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. It's really simple. That's how important this is. Hence, it is subject of inquiry and can and not be neglected for any count thereof. In other words, you need to really study how to become successful. And laying out plans is one of the most important things. It's the first engagement towards your success in life. Laying out a plan that you can follow up, follow through, and get done. The Art of War, then, this book is governed by 5 constant factors. Now, I'll translate this to be taken into account in one's deliberations. In other words, if you're thinking about attaining something, going after this, some 5 things you have to really understand when seeking to determine the conditions of the playing field or obtaining of the battlefield. Okay, the playing field is your life. The playing field is what you do. The playing field is what you have to step out into, and don't be a shoulda, coulda, woulda, and be I did, I risked, I took my shot, but I did it 1,000%. That's the playing field. Okay. Now, there are the moral law, the heaven's law, earth's law, and the commander, method, and discipline. Now, these are the 5 things that the Art of War talks about. I'm going to translate this. When they talk about the moral law, it's the cause of people to be in complete accord with the ruler. In other words, if you have good moral sound law, they will follow you, the ruler, regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. In other words, if you are the leader of a group, if you're the leader of a project, if you're the leader of your company, if you're the leader of an athletic team, if you're the leader of your company, if you're the leader of something, leader of your family, you have to have a moral turpitude to you. This is one of the things that despise me so much about today's politics, is that the immorality of everybody that seems to be in the news, the immorality of the professional politicians. I mean, we just found out yesterday Dick Schumer was on Heidi Fleiss escort list. I mean, really? The immorality of them is what bothers me. How can you follow somebody that has no morality? Okay, so the moral law, if people see that you are a moral person and you have morality, your team will come to you. Together, everybody achieves more with a strong leader that has morality. Okay, that's the ruler. So they will follow you regardless of what their lives are about and undismayed by any danger, because they will put their confidence in your moral ideology. Okay? Heaven signifies night and day, okay, cold and hot, times and seasons. The great leader has to understand when to attack, when not to attack, when to step forward, when not to step forward. Heaven is sort of like timing. You have to have the proper timing in things, and timing comes through great preparation. Great preparation comes through laying plans and understanding plans, and great thought and great deliberations. This is what you have to do. You have to have great timing. And when the Art of War, Sun Tzu talks about heaven, he's really talking about the timing. When to attack, when to take over, when, night or day, cold or hot, are the times of the seasons, summer, winter, spring, or fall. It's the best time. What is the best time for us to take the step forward, take the battle? Okay? Earth conspires distances, great and small, danger and security, open ground, narrow passes, the chances of life and death. When Sun Tzu talks about Earth in terms of the war ideology, he says it really plain. Earth comprises of distance, the distance between you and your object. Is it a great object? It is a small object. What is that object doing? Is it dangerous? Do you have good and proper security? Or do they have security? Is the ground open? Is the path narrow? Is it filled full of water? Are there tumbling rocks? The chances of life and death prevail on these important items through great deliberation and great plan making. That's why we talk about the art of war. The first part of it is laying plans. Okay, in terms of your everyday life, I mean, you have to study. You have to deliberate. When, how far, how dangerous, how much security for you to take that step? What kind of ground? What kind of challenges are you going to have to go through? What kind of challenges do you think you're going to have to go through? What kind of challenges that will probably happen, and how are you going to deal with that when you deal with it? This is one of the things you learn in law school. When I went to law school, is you learn to consistently think the what if. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? It's the what if. It's the if about it all that you have to prepare for, because everybody can prepare for what happens. It's the what if. What if this happens? What am I going to do? I know they're going to do this. What am I going to do that? I know this is going to happen. What am I going to do then? That's what we talk about Earth in terms of what's happening in the art of war. The commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness. A commander has to have moral turpitude. A commander has to stand strong, stand proud, have a direction, have an idea. Whether the commander's direction or idea may be right or wrong, sound or not sound, in order for anybody to follow the commander, the leader of the pack, the leader of the job, the leader of the subject matter, the leader of the accomplishment that you are set out to accomplish, the leader of the thing that you are set to do, whatever it may be, the commander must be a man or woman of virtue, of wisdom, virtues of wisdom. They must be wise. They must be thoughtful. They must be sincere, have great sincerity about what they're doing, because what they're doing is what our followers are going to follow. Followers want to follow somebody who's got a journey, who's got an idea. And if they're sincere about it and passionate about it from their soul, in the art of war, the commander will prevail, because in emotion and physicality, the soldier will follow. The soldier will follow the leader. Always remember that. If the leader is virtuous of wisdom and security and has sincerity in his heart and is benevolent, in other words, understands empathy, compassion, is benevolent, will appreciate his team that he's put together around him more than he appreciates his own effort. He must have courage and strictness. Courage is very important. You must stand in the light of evil with your sword and your sword and your shield. Stand in the face of evil and say, I am here. You may have been doing this now, but now I'm here. It's going to stop, and I'm going to tell you to stop and make you stop. I have courage to step forward into the unknown. I have courage to take the risk. Hey, that might work or that might not work, but we're going to try it because I've got confidence in my team, and my team's going to make it work. And you have to be strict. You have to say, look, we're going to do that. If you don't want to do that, out the door you go. This is the way it's going to be. Someone has to pull the trigger, and the leader will pull the trigger, and those will allow the leader to pull the trigger if the leader is moral, if the leader has sincerity, if the leader is benevolent, if the leader has courage, and if the leader stands proud and strong and tall. See how the art of war pertains to every aspect of your life? It's an unbelievable thing that was written in the 5th century. By method and discipline, the 5 major things that Sun Tzu talks about. By method and discipline, they are to be understood the marshaling of the army in its proper divisions, the gradations of rank among the officers, the maintenance of roads by which supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure. Method and discipline is very important when you are looking for success in your life and you're trying to find a successful journey. You have to have great method and discipline. They're to be understood. The marshaling of the army, the bringing together, the saying, let's do it now in its proper subdivisions. In other words, piecing it out little by little at a time. The gradations of rank. Who has rank? Where is the pecking order of command? Command and communication is very important. There has to be someone who is the boss. There has to be somebody who is a second boss, the third boss. But all people participate. But somebody has to have authority. Okay? And rank is done that in the army, in the regular civilian life. Job status is done that. Okay? The maintenance of the roads by which supplies may reach the army and the control of the military expenditure. Somebody's got to watch the budget. That's what it's all about. And somebody's got to keep the path of the supply chain open and going. You need something, somebody has to be able to get it for you. It has to be provided. That is a team. Together, everybody is achieving more under method and discipline. You understand? There it is. Really simple. The 5 heads should be familiar to every general. You should understand this stuff like night and day, okay? And guide your life accordingly. He who knows them will be victorious. He who doesn't know them will fail. It's that simple. That simple. That simple. Therefore, in your deliberations and your thoughts when seeking to determine the military conditions or the conditions of the adventure that you're about to take on, let them be made the basis of comparison in the wise. In other words, compare experience, compare your research, compare what you're doing in terms of how to get better at what you do for what you want to accomplish. Which of the 2 sovereigns is imbued by the moral law? Which of the 2 generals has mobility? With whom lie the advantages derived from heaven and earth? Of which side is discipline most rigorously enforced? Which army is stronger? Of which side are officers and men more highly trained? In which army is there the greater consistency both in reward and punishment? When you are going to accomplish and you are on your trek, your journey to be a winner, you're winning already, but to win more, you have to understand your competition. You have to understand what they're doing. You have to understand their command and control. You have to understand their supply chain. You have to understand what is going on in that respect. You have to understand that they have their own teams put together. Who's on that team? What is on that team? Where are they accomplishing? What are they good at? What are they weak at? Where do they put their ground morality at? These are the things that you as a leader of your team have to understand in the competition. This is what puts you over the top against the others who are successful. I'm not going to get through this all because I'm ending up pretty soon here right now. But I just wanted to talk about the art of war and how it can lead to your success, okay, in life, no matter what you do. Not just committing battle and war, but understanding how to accomplish things for your goals in life, all right? By means of these conditions and these considerations that we just talked about, you can forecast victory or defeat. It's really that simple. The general that hearkens to the counsel and acts upon it will conquer. So put your spies out there. Put your tentacles out there. Put your research out there. Put your counsel out there. Listen to what they're saying. Let such one be retained in command. If you put them in command, listen to what they're saying. Take into deliberation what they're saying. The general that hearkens not to the counsel, nor acts upon proper counsel, will suffer defeat. Let such a one be dismissed. You are only as good as your weakest link. You must be strong as a team. And if you put a team together that's strong, you have to trust in that the team knows what they're doing in their individual tours. Listen to them. Understand them. Utilize them. For they are winners too. While heeding the profit of the counsel, avail yourself also of any helpful circumstances over and beyond the ordinary rules. According to a circumstance, they're either favorable. One should modify one's plans. In other words, if you have a favorable circumstance that is favorable to somebody else and weaker to you, you have to have the flexibility of modification, the ability to change. Remember that all warfare is deception. It's deception, it's deceit. It's deception. It's deceiving. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. Your enemy has to look at you and says, oh, they're not able to attack. But you have to be able. Or they're unable to attack. And you have to be able. Or they're able to attack. You have to be unable. When using your forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. Deception. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. Deceit, deception. A matrix. Isn't that interesting? Think about what's happening today. Are we Americans being deceived by all the political parties and professionals, corporations, banks, military, insurance companies, the Vatican, the Queen of England, the monarchy system, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers? Are we being deceived, deception by the media? Think about that. Interesting, huh? Hold out baits to entice the enemy. Test the waters. Feign disorder. Push it away and crush them. If he is scarce, if he is secure at all points, that is, be prepared for him. If he is superior in strength, run away. Come back to fight another day. Build another strategy, another tactic. Evade. Don't confront. Don't let your ego get away with it. Don't let your pocketbook think you can afford it. Understand, they're playing the deception on you. So understand their deception. You need to learn to deceive the deceptor. Attack him where he's unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. These military devices in the game of the art of war and winning life, ladies and gentlemen, leading to victory, must not be divulged beforehand to anybody, but in the leader's mind. Do well and know well. You need to take in consideration their ideas. You need to keep your mouth shut, keep your ears open, keep your eyes wide, watch and observe. Study and prepare the ground. Understand your enemy better than you understand yourself. Understand your competition better than you understand what you are about to go on the threshold and accomplish. Then and only then will you have the opportunity to defeat your competition. Then and only then. If not, your competition will defeat you. The Art of War. It's a great book. Go get it and read it. I've read it 100 times. Try to live by that stuff. It's tough to do that, but I try to live by it. It's the Jesse T Show. Now, tomorrow, I've got something special coming up tomorrow, and I'm going to bring that up here because we have a very special guest checking in tomorrow, and it's Roger Neal. Now, Roger Neal is one of the very best public relations men in Hollywood and Los Angeles. He is just terrific. Roger Neal he knows everybody. He has represented all kinds of movie stars and singing stars, and he has done so much in public relations, politicians, as well as everything. Pre-Grammy Super Bowl celebration. Who's doing this? Let me see. Who's going to be there? RTME Sony International Pre-Grammy Super Bowl celebration, February 2nd. That's coming up, 2019. Cy Richardson starts at 7 p.m. Tickets, 20 raffle more, DJ, and Peter Allman. Oh, hey, I might have to. Oh, Pete Allman. Pete Allman's going to be there, huh? All right, Pete. Oh, okay. Well, Cy Richardson's going to be at the Pre-Grammy Super Bowl celebration. Yeah, Pete wanted me to go there. Hey, Pete. Hey, buddy. I'd love to go there. Pay me some money, baby. I'll show up. We'll have a great time. Anyway, let's go here. All right. So, on February 24th, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stay tuned to the Jesse T Show. Dave Smith says the 7 P's are proper prior planning, prevents piss poor performance. Isn't that true? I think it's a part of the stadium. It's going to be a good one. David Harrison, before, during, and after, when they come over from the show on Hollywood Boulevard at the Oscars, they mosey on over to the Hollywood Palladium just around the corner for the first of 3 big parties that all the stars go to. This one here, Roger Neal's 4th annual Academy Award-winning viewing and dinner party, pre and post party, and then they go over to Vanity Fair and they end up at Elton John's AIDS celebration and party in that respect. So we want you to come on out. We want you to be a part of it, and we want you to make sure that you are there. And if you can't be, February 24th, then you can tune into the Jesse T Show. And the Jesse T Show will be broadcasting live from there with Dan the Man on the carpet with me, and some lucky somebody will be hanging out with us on the Jesse T Show. We want you to be there, all right? So you'll have the opportunity to either you can buy a ticket. If you don't win, the tickets are about $1,000 a piece, and it's February 24th, and it's going to be a great celebration. And if you want to sponsor and have your name all over the news media and with every major star, then you need to hook up there with us, because it is pretty amazing as to what's going to happen. And if you have a business or something, oh man, these guys that sponsor these shows, these top 3 ones, they just make tons of money in that following year from all the stars and stuff that want their stuff. So we want you to join that and be a part of it. Everybody's going to be there. Lou Ferrigno is going to be there. I mean, just everybody's going to be there. The stars, I'm going to be posting up some of the stars that will be arriving. Howard Hewitt will be performing live for us. Roger, the real deal, Neal, top recording R&B artist, a new one. He's got a new hit record out. He's going to be there. So many stars. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but we want you to be hanging out with us there at the party on February 24th, okay? All right, guys. The Jesse T Show. Tomorrow we'll have Roger Neal in down at the KTNT Radio and TV Network, our home ground studio and station, as we broadcast live from some undisclosed location here. It's the Jesse T Show today. Thanks a lot for joining us. I appreciate that very much, okay? You have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Jesse T, on the way to be. Hey, the Brown Beauty is always on duty, okay? I will see you later.